The one thing and the very important thing that establishing our own foundation called Friends of Heal towards the end of 2012 enabled us to do was to share something that we believed was best practice and innovative practice. And in fact, one of the criteria of things that are best practice are that it's not a one-off, that it can be replicated in other settings and other contexts. And so the service and the program that we wanted to replicate and share around to people and schools where there was unmet need and unmet demand was a program called HEAL, the Home of Expressive Arts in Learning. And two concepts in that name are very important. One, home or space, safe haven, that is part of the deal when we go into a school, that a room and a space is allocated. And you notice it's in a school because site-based, on-site programs that assist in the well-being of our target group, which is newly arrived refugee young people, is very important because school normalises life for kids out of war, out of refugee camps, who've experienced torture and trauma and multiple grief and loss issues. So the other important thing is learning. The traumatised mind can't remember. What you learn on Monday, you've forgotten by Wednesday. And so it's really, really important that the things that facilitate the learning are in place. And why, you might ask, creative arts, and that's particularly significant for you as the audience and the partnership with the creative partnership people, is that we all know that creativity is inherently healing. But when our target group, again, are newly arrived refugee children from many, many different countries, from many of the African countries at the moment, it's more Somalia, Eritrea, the Congo, from the Middle Eastern countries, Kurdistan, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, and the Asian countries, Rohingya, Karen and Chin, from the borders of Myanmar. So the universal language of creativity is extremely important. And things like the multimodal aspects, being able to use the sand tray, being able to paint, being able to use collage, being able to use clay or material, means that every person can participate and find his or her preferred mode. Also, the other aspect of creativity is that it's not judgmental, it's gentle, and it's very accessible. So who are these young people then, and what does their profile look like? So they might be a young Hazara boy, might be someone who was orphaned at 3 years of age, put into orphanages, kidnapped, abused, tortured, rescued, put on a boat, arrived in Australia with no schooling, no continuity of schooling, and a great deal of trauma attached. That person is in school, he or she wants to be the best they can be, and it's very significant that programs such as the ones funded by Friends of Heal are able to remove some of those barriers to learning. What does this kind of program look like on the ground on a day-to-day basis? Its skill depends on compassionate, trained art psychotherapists. It's not just art for relaxation, it's art as therapy. And so the training of the people and the money that we raise through our foundation is solely expended on paying the wages of these people and even sometimes a therapeutic aid if one is needed. So it's extremely important that this kind of work be done in a school-based setting, and that all the students who need that service have access to it. And the profiles are such of multiple bereavedness, of family, of culture, of language, all of those things that will accompany them on their journey here. And you would be amazed, as we are constantly, by their resilience, by their ability to go from a point of great vulnerability and swing that around to one of opportunity, so that they too can become the best citizens of this country that they can be. They're also very highly achieving young people if they receive these appropriate supports and services. And we have 3 past students from the program here with us tonight. We have John from South Sudan. John is a self-employed plumber with his own business. Samira from Kurdistan, and Connie. And Connie, I'll just ask you to speak briefly this evening, but the one-on-one consultations costs $55 an hour, a day of therapy $330 an hour, and the actual $10,000 would buy 6 weeks of weekly therapy for 45 students. I give you Connie Kabaliza.
Hi everyone. So my full name is Consulate Kabaliza, but Connie is good. Okay, so my family and I arrived in Australia 9 years ago, and I had an opportunity to go to Milpara, and it was amazing that the program such as HEAL was there and I could access it and be able to express all the traumatic experience that has happened to me in my past life, and be able to talk freely and express everything in a confidential manner and be able to be understood, and also with my culture. So HEAL is an amazing, and HEAL is very personal to me. And this is a great program that really help students like me, from refugee or asylum seeker students, to be empowered to achieve a lot of things in their lives, such as education, employment, and anything else that they want to achieve. Thank you.